Now we have WAEC 2023 objective question 21. The question says we should find the value of m in the diagram. And let's zoom in on this and let's think, how can we find the value of m? So the first thing we'll do is to duplicate and elongate the parallel line. So we'll duplicate it also at this intersection and elongate this part, knowing fully well that this line itself is parallel and also parallel to the previous lines. Now, in the principle of parallel lines, where we have both alternate angle and corresponding angle in play, we understand that 40 degrees here is equals to 40 degrees. Okay, now if we call this angle, the remaining angle here, if we call it A, okay, because we know that the sum of angles at this point as given in the diagram is 90 degrees. So we can say that A plus 40 degrees is equals to what? 90 degrees. So we are saying that A will be equals to 90 degrees minus 40 degrees. So therefore A will be equals to 50 degrees. Now we have 50 degrees to be equals to A. Let's write it out. Now we have moved forward a bit. Now we are closer to M. How then do we evaluate M? Now we understand that this 50 degrees or this A as an angle, since these two lines are parallel in nature, definitely this also be 50 degrees using alternate angles. So if that is 50 degrees, then we can now evaluate the value of M because of using the application of sum of angles in a straight line. So we are saying that M plus 50, let's use a blue, yeah. So we are saying that M plus 50 degrees is equals to what? 180 degrees. And in view of that, M will be equals to 180 degrees minus 50 degrees. And M is 130 degrees, which is option B. Okay, now we have found M to be 130 degrees, which is the question we are looking for. Now, there's another way we can go about this. What if we elongate this line? If we elongate this line now, and we understand that to get this line, this angle M is also equals to this angle here, M. So we are just looking at alternative way to solve this now, because M here is equals to M, just as A here is equals to A. So according to this, now we can now apply the same principle that we did, that M plus 50, because we will be applying the whole straight line. That's M, okay, plus 50 is equals to 180 degrees, just as we had here, and we are using sum of angles in a straight line. Sum of angles in a straight line. So we can now see how we evaluated M in possible ways. So M is equals to 130 degrees, which is equivalent to option B. WAEC 2023 objective question 22. The question reads thus: a line L is passing through the point 6, minus 13 and is parallel to the line which passes through 7, 4 and minus 3, 9. Find the equation of the line L. Now there are too many things we are going to consider here. We understand that the line passing through the point 6, minus 13 is parallel. Okay, is parallel so the line passing through the point 7, 4 and minus 3, 9. Now we are looking for the equation of this line but then we're given these 2 points for a particular reason. Now let's write out the equations, the formula involved in equation of a line. Now the general format of the equation of the line is y is equals to mx plus c. Now if we are given a single point, we'll have that y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 is equals to m, where m is the gradient. And if we are given 2 points, we'll have y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 is equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1. So now the equation of the line we are given that we are looking for passes through just 1 point, so we are going to be applying this formula, and we have x1 and y1. So we have x1, we have y1. However, we don't have m. Now to get our value of m, we are going to apply these 2 points, because when two lines are parallel, okay, when two lines are parallel, we are given that m1 is equals to m2. That means that to the gradient of line 1 is equals to the gradient of line 2. So with this, we understand that whatever gradient we have here will be the same gradient that will be applied here. And what is the formula for gradient? Gradient m is equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So if we look at this now, we can label this x1, y1, okay, and this is x2, y2. So applying the formula now, we have our gradient m, our y2 is 9, our y1 is 4, our x2 is minus 3, and our x1 is 7. So evaluating the m now, 9 minus 4 would give us 5, minus 3 minus 7 will give us minus 10, and this will give us minus 1 over 2. So now we have our m to be minus 1 over 2. Now once we have that, we can now apply this formula of, let's change the ink now, of y minus y1 divided by x, okay, minus x1 is equals to m. Remember, we are considering the line passing through the point 6 comma minus 13. So we understand that this 6 is our x1 and minus 13 is our y1. So let's write it now, and our m that we evaluated is minus 1 over 2. So simplifying further, let's make our substitutions, right? So this will be y minus y1, which is minus 13, divided by x minus x1, which is 6, and the gradient is minus 1 over 2. So now we want to find the expression of y given this. So this will result into y plus 13 divided by x minus 6 is equals to minus 1 over 2. So we cross multiply, and we will have 2 into y plus 13, and we'll have minus 1 into x minus 6. So if we multiply the bracket, we'll have 2y plus 26 is equals to minus x plus 6. Minus x plus 6. Okay. So in view of that, we'll make y the subject to formula. So we'll have 2y to be equals to minus x plus 6 minus 26. So we have 2y to be equals to minus x minus 20. Let's write it well, minus 20. So with that done now, all we just have to do now is to divide all through by 2. So if we divide this by 2, divide this by 2, and divide this by 2, we would have y to be equals to minus 1 over 2x minus 1 over 2x minus, remember this is 20, minus 10. So in view of that, we have our final answer, that y is equals to minus 1 over 2x minus 10. And this is equivalent to option C. So let's take a quick recap of what we did. We're given the question to evaluate this line, but then we're given the gradient parallel to this line. So we evaluated the gradient to be minus 1 over 2, and then we applied the formula for equation of line given a single point. So we have x1 to be 6, y1, okay, this should be y1, x1 to be 6 and y1 to be minus 13. Okay, once we have y1 to be minus 13, then we just apply the formula and we'll arrive at the equation of the line. WAEC 2023 Objectives Question 23. We're given the question that an empty cylindrical tank is 140 centimeters in diameter. If 200 liters of water is poured into the tank, correct to the nearest centimeter the height of the water in the tank. Take pi to be 22/7. So we're given an empty cylindrical tank, okay, and we're also given that the diameter is 140. So let's draw this. What's happening? Diameter is 140, so that means the distance from this point to this point is 140 centimeters. So in view of that, we know that the radius, or let's say the diameter, is equals to 2 multiplied by the radius. So we understand that the radius is diameter over 2, 140 over 2, which is 70 centimeters. Now, that's the first line of the question. Now, the second line says if 200 liters, so we have 200 liters of water is poured into the tank, correct to the nearest centimeters the height. So we are looking for the height, h. Now, how do we evaluate the height? Now, this is not a surface area thing, this will be a volume thing. So the volume of a cylinder is given as pi r square h. Now we're given the volume V to be equals to 200 liters. Okay, the radius is 70 centimeters and we are looking for the height. Now this is 200 liters. 200 liters should be converted to centimeter cube because the unit is centimeter cube. Look at the options. We also have centimeters. So how then do we convert 1 liter, okay, to a unit, to something in centimeter cube? So you remember our conversion while we were still maybe in basic school or higher grades, we understand that 1 liter is equals to 1000 centimeters cube. So if the volume is 200 liters, then we can also equate it to give us 200 multiplied by 1000 centimeter cube. So we have the volume to be equals to 200,000. Simple as that. 200,000 centimeter cube. Now we have the volume to be 200,000 centimeter cube. We have the radius to be 70 centimeters and we are looking for the height. So let's just apply the formula. V is equals to pi r square h. The volume is 200,000. Yeah. And the pi is 22/7. The radius is 70 centimeters. So we have 70 squared. And we're looking for the height h. 70 centimeters. Let's rewrite this. And with that, we can make h solve the formula. So we are saying that h, okay, will be equals to 200,000 multiplied by 7 divided by 22 multiplied by 70 squared. Now this 70 squared can be written as 70 multiplied by 70. So if we make our elimination properly, we'll be left with 200, okay, or let's say 2000. Yes, 2000 multiplied by 1 divided by 22 multiplied by 10. So we multiplied by 1 multiplied by 7. Yeah, because we understand that the 7 will nullify the 7, this 10 will be nullified, and this 10 here will be nullified here. So in view of that, we have h to be equals to 2000 divided by 22 multiplied by 7. So we use our calculator, we will have the value of h to be given as 12.987 centimeters. Now the question says we convert to the nearest centimeters. So converting to the nearest centimeters, we have h to be 13 centimeters, which is equivalent to option C. So we see we moved from the volume formula for the volume, converted the liters to centimeter cube, and then we're able to evaluate the height. Moving on to WAEC 2023 objective question 24. We're given a question here that involves angle of elevation. Mrs. Kibe stands at a distance of 110 meters away from a building. The building is of vertical height 58 meters. If Kibe is 2 meters tall, find the angle of elevation of the top of the building from her eye. So now let's represent this in the diagram. We have Mrs. Kibe here. Let's just depict something like this here. And she's standing at a distance of 110 meters away from the building. So let us assume this is the building. Okay, building. This is Mrs. Kibe, Mrs. K. And the distance here is 110 meters. 110 meters. Okay, the building is of vertical height 58 meters. So the distance from this point to this point is 58 meters. Now there is a conditional statement, because on a normal day we'll just say that, oh, let's just complete this triangle since it's right angled in nature, and just complete it like this, find the angle of elevation theta. But then there is a condition here. Remember that the angle of elevation starts from the point of view. Okay, the point of view. So if Mrs. Kibe is 2 meters tall, that means you're saying the distance here is 2 meters. From our point of view is 2 meters. 2 meters. We should find the angle of elevation. So we are saying that the distance at which she's looking at it to this point, and now we are looking for the point angle of elevation. Just assume here theta. Now there is an increase in height of Mrs. Kibe, so definitely we are saying that yes, the distance between her to the building is still 110 meters. However, the height of the building will be reduced by 2 because of the increased height here. So we are saying that this would be from here to here would now be 56 meters. So in view of that, we can now draw the diagram again, this time just picking what we need. So we have a right angle triangle, Mrs. Kibe here, so the distance of the height, which is 110 meters. The height we are considering is going to be 56 meters, and we are looking for the angle of elevation theta. So this is simple. Now let's find theta. How do we look for theta? Theta is evaluated by applying the principle of SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. You should watch what we have done on trigonometry so far, where we also dealt on angle of elevation and depression. Now sine is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is equals to opposite over adjacent. Now if you look closely to this, we understand that theta here, the side facing angle theta, is the opposite. So we have 56 to be the opposite. This to be the adjacent, and we have the hypotenuse here. So we are saying as the opposite is equals to 56 meters. The adjacent is equals to 110 meters. And the hypotenuse, not in question, and theta is unknown. So what relates opposite and adjacent together? opposite and adjacent is related by tan. So we are saying that tan theta is equals to opposite divided by the adjacent. Okay. The opposite is equals to 56. The adjacent is equals to 110. So tan theta is equals to 56 divided by 110. So if we divide this using our calculator, we'll have tan theta to be equals 0.5090. Then we apply the principle of inverse cos or inverse tan. That's inverse trigonometry of 5090. And this is equals to 26.98 degrees. Now if we look at the option, what is close to this? That means we have to approximate this to 27 degrees. So which is equivalent to option B. So remember, all we just have to do is to depict the question in a diagram, and from the diagram we will know what to pick. Now we have a very interesting question here. WAEC 2023 objective question 25. The question asks us to find the mean deviation of the set of numbers 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So what is mean deviation? What is standard deviation? What is variance? And the rest, what is even mean? So this is a set of ungrouped data. So let's just write out the formulas that we will be needing. Mean deviation, which we'll just call mean MD, is equals to the summation of the modulus of x minus x bar divided by n. That's the number of terms. The standard deviation, however, is the square root of the summation of x minus x bar squared, okay, divided by n. And the variance, which is this square of the standard deviation, is simply summation of x minus x bar squared divided by n. Remember, variance is standard deviation squared. So now let's apply this principle to the question that we have. Now we're given a set of data. We're given 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And we're asked to find the mean deviation. What is the formula for mean deviation? Mean deviation is the summation of the modulus of x minus x bar. Mean deviation is the summation of x minus x bar divided by the number of terms. So if you count here now, what is the number of terms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n is equals to 6. Easy as ABC. So we have the value of n to be equals to 6. Now if you look at the formula, we have n, we have the values of x, but then what is x bar? Mean. We have to evaluate mean. So let us evaluate mean now as x bar. So x bar will be equals to 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19, everything divided by 6, which is the number of times. So if you sum up the numerator now, you will have it to give us 99 divided by 6, and this will give us 16.5. So x bar is equals to 16.5. Now we want to find x minus x bar for each. The best way to do this is to use a table. So using a table now, we have x minus x bar, and we also have modulus of x minus x bar. Okay, don't need the line, just need this line. So now let's begin with our values of x: 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. The next point of action is to find the second column, which is x minus x bar. So look at this x minus x bar. That means the value of x minus 16.5. So 14 minus 16.5 is minus 2.5. 15 minus 16.5 is minus 1.5. 16 minus 16.5 is minus 0.5. 17 minus 16.5 is 0.5. 18 minus 16.5 is 1.5. And finally 19 minus 16.5 is 2.5. Now with that done, we now have to find the modulus of each term. So the modulus of 2.5 minus 2.5 is 2.5. The modulus of minus 1.5 is 1.5. The modulus of this. So we just have the same numbers written, this time void of their signs, and 2.5. So with that done now, we go back to the formula. The formula says the summation of everything in that column. So we just have to sum everything we have in this column. So 2.5 plus 1.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 1.5 plus 2.5 is equals to 9. So we recall the formula of mean deviation again. The mean deviation is the summation of x minus x bar of the modulus. Okay, let's rewrite that. Mean deviation is the summation of x minus x bar all divided by n. So the summation here is 9. The n, that's the number of terms, is 6. So 9 divided by 6 is 1.5. So we have the mean deviation to be equal to 1.5, which is equivalent to option B. B. So with that, we have learned on mean deviation of ungrouped data, just as the formula for standard deviation and as well as variance. WAEC 2023 objective question 26. The question says the interior angle of the regular polygon is 6 times its exterior angle. We should find the number of sides of the polygon. Now, since we are dealing on polygon, let's write out everything we know. That's the formulas involved in polygon. The first thing is the fact that the sum of interior angles of a polygon, of a regular polygon, is given as n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. Similarly, the sum of exterior angles, is 360 degrees, and an exterior angle in itself, exterior angle is 360 divided by the number of sides. And we understand vividly now, if you make n subject to formula here, that n will be equals to 360 degrees divided by the exterior angle. Now, if you draw a diagram now representing interior angle and exterior angle, let's say a regular polygon like this, maybe a pentagon, yeah, and this is the interior angle I, and if this line is elongated, we will have the exterior angle E. Now, according to trigonometry, this is a straight line. Okay, then the angle on the straight line is equals to 180 degrees. So we are saying that the exterior angle plus exterior angle is equals to 180 degrees. Now let's go back to the question. The question says the interior angle of the regular polygon excuse me, the interior angle of the regular polygon is 6 times its exterior angle. So let's call this interior angle. Let the interior angle be I. Let interior be I, and let exterior be E. Now, if the interior is 6 times the exterior angle, so we're saying that I is equals to 6E. This is interesting. And we are asked to find the number of sides. So if I is equals to 6e, the number of sides can be found by using 360 degrees divided by the exterior angle. Okay, so now let us apply this to evaluate the exterior angle. I plus e is equals to 180 degrees. So we have found that I is equals to 6e. So anywhere we see I, we substitute what? 6e. So we have 6e plus e is equals to 180 degrees. So with this, we have the 7 exterior angle is equals to 180 degrees. So the exterior angle is equals to 180 degrees divided by 7, which is equals to 25.71 degrees. Now we have exterior angle to be 25.71 degrees. Then we can now apply the formula here. That's the number of sides n is equals to 360 degrees divided by the exterior angle. So this will give us 360 degrees divided by 25.71 degrees. And we'll have this to give us approximately 14 sides. So n is equals to 14 sides, which is equivalent to option B. Now you can see we applied all the formulas we have here, majorly the exterior angle, and the interior angle plus exterior angle is equals to 180 degrees, which is one important thing in polygon. Let's move further to WAEC 2023 objective question 27. The question says the length of the diagonal of a square is 12 centimeters. We should calculate the area of the square. Alright, so let's input a square, insert shape, square. Now the question says the diagonal, that means the length from here to here, is 12 centimeters. Oops. Diagonal is 12 centimeters. Let's write that well. And we have to find the area of the square. Now the formula for area of the square is equals to, let's assume the length is x, is equals to x squared. That means the length multiplied by the breadth, and we know that the square all sides are equal. Now in this diagram of the square, now we understand vividly that this is a right angle triangle. If this is a right angle triangle, then we will apply Pythagoras theorem. So this will be the hypotenuse. Let's change the ink. Hypotenuse, we can call either of them the opposite and this the adjacent. So we can now apply the hypotenuse theorem. That's hypotenuse squared is equals to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. Now what are we looking for? We are looking for the area. We are looking for the expression of x squared, because x squared represents the area of the square. So now let's look how do we get the expression of x squared. Do we have to get x squared x first, or just simply just find x? So now hypotenuse in this question is 12 squared, the opposite is x, likewise the adjacent is x. So if we simplify further, this will give us 2x squared is equals to 12 squared is 144. If we divide both sides by 2, we will have x squared. Okay, we will have x squared to be equals to 72. So this is divided by 2, then we'll have x squared to be equals to 72. Now, do we need to go further to find the value of x, or should we just say that the area is equals to 72 centimeters squared? Well, even if we find the value of x here and say that x is equals to the root of 72, okay, if x is the root of 72, then we now have to find let's say 72 is root 72 is 8.485 centimeters. Then x will be this multiplied by 8.48, then we will have what approximately 72 centimeters squared. So yes, we still don't need to find the value of x because we understand that the area that we're looking for is represented by x squared. So therefore, the answer is 72 centimeters squared, which is equivalent to option C. So we can see how we can get the area of a square from the diagonal of the square. Moving on to WAEC 2023 objective question 29. We are asked what is the name of a triangle with vertex 1, -3, 6, 2, and 0, 4. Now we have the options of isosceles triangle, right angle triangle, equilateral triangle, and scaling triangle. Oops. And yeah, this is a very interesting question. So to fully understand this question now, we just have to plot a graph that represents A, B, and C. Okay, let's call the vertex A. Okay, let's just look at the point first. So we have 1, -3. So 1, -3, let's call this 1, and -3 should be here. So we call this 1, -3. And moving on, 6, 2. 6, 2, that's 6 on the x-axis and 2 on the y-axis. So it should be around here or here. So we have 6, 2, 6, 2. And finally 0, 4. 0 is on the x-axis and 4 on the y-axis. So we should have it here, 0, 4. So this is a triangle. Okay, if this is a triangle, then we'll just have the vertex joined together. 1, -3 joined to 6, 2. Similarly, 1, -3 joins to 0, 4. And finally, 0, 4 joined to 6, 2. Now, to fully understand this question now, we have to look at the options, okay, so that we'll know what we are looking for. Isosceles triangle means two sides are equal. Right angle triangle means the hypotenuse squared. Okay, let's write again. Isosceles triangle means two sides equal. Okay, when we have the right angle triangle, we have the Pythagoras theorem that says the hypotenuse squared is equals to adjacent squared plus opposite squared. And equilateral triangle means we have three sides, all sides equal. That's three sides equal. And when we have the scaling triangle, we have no sides equal. So how do we then know which side is equal and which side is not equal? Then we have to bring out the introduction of angle between 2 points, distance between 2 points. So distance between 2 points is given by the formula that is going to give the square root of y2 minus y1 squared minus x2 minus x1 squared. So this is the distance between 2 points. It should be plus x2 minus x1 squared. So if we label these points now, let's label them for understanding. Let's label this A, B, or let's use B here, and C. So we just have to find the length of AB, okay, length of AC, and also the length of BC. Which one of them is equal? If two sides are equal, then it's isosceles. If three sides are equal, then it's equilateral triangle. If no side is equal, it's scaling. And if the square of one is the sum of the other two squares, then it is right angled in nature. So let's begin. Let's begin with distance AB. Distance AB means that we are considering A to be the initial and B to be the final. So that means we are saying 0,4 going to 1, minus 3. So if we label this x1, y1, x2, y2. So we are using the formula of distance between 2 points. And if we implement this now, we will have that AB is equals to AB is equals to the square root of y2 minus y1 squared. So this is y2 minus 3 minus y1 4 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared. So we have x2 to be 1 minus x1, which is 0 squared. So simplifying this further, this would give us minus 3 minus 4, which is minus 7 squared and 1 squared. So minus 7 squared is equals to 49 and 1 squared is equals to 1, and this will give us root 50. So we have length AB to be equals to root 50. Similarly, let's evaluate length AC. That means we are starting from A, 0,4 going to C, 6,2. So we have 0,4 going to 6,2, 0,4 going to 6,2. So as usual, x1, y1, x2, y2. And we'll just apply the formula of distance between 2 points, which is y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared, all in square roots. So let's apply that. Y2 minus y1, y2 is 2, y1 is 4 squared plus x2 6, x1 0 squared. So we solve this together now, and this will give us square root of 2 minus 4, that's minus 2 squared, and 6 minus 0, and that will give us 6 squared. And solving it, moving on, minus 2 squared will give us 4, and 6 squared will give us 36, and this will give us root 40. So now we have AC to be equals to root 40. And finally, we now have the expression of BC. Remember, we have solved for length AB, AC, now we want to solve for BC. BC means we are starting from B going to C. So B is 1, minus 3, C is 6, 2. So we are going from 1, minus 3, and we are going to 6, 2. x1, y1, x2, y2. So we'll just find the length of BC. Now BC, according to the formula that we are going to apply, y2 minus y1 plus x2 minus x1. So in view of that, y2 is 2, y1 is minus 3, all squared, plus x2 6, and x1 is 1 squared. So simplifying further, this would give us the square root of 2 minus 3, that's 2 plus 5. Sorry, 2 plus 3, that's 5. So we have 5 squared plus 5 squared. Interesting. And this would give us 25 plus 25. 25 plus 25 would give us root 50. Root 50. Now what do we see? What do we observe? We have root 50 occurring twice. Okay, now if we go back to the definition of isosceles triangle means two sides are equal. So that means we are saying that AB is equal to BC, and this means that two sides are equal, so we have an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle, which is equivalent to option A. So you see what we did here? We evaluated from the distance, and from the distance we interpreted the equations or the options, and from there we have the right answer. Now we want to solve WAEC 2023 objective question 30. The question says in the diagram that NR is the diameter, and we're given the angle of MNR, that's angle X degrees, and SRN to be 5x plus 20 degrees. We should find the value of 2x. We should look for the value of 2x. Now, how do we solve this? You can pause the video and give it a try. Now, it was not stated that the length of NR, NM, that it was not stated that it is equal to MR. So we are not going to make that assumption. So we'll just say that it is not equal. Because if it was equal, we'll just say base angle of isosceles triangle is equals to 0. Is equal, sorry, not equals to 0. Then we'll just sum these two together to give us 180 degrees. However, it is not equal. So to get the value of x now, we have to move backwards in such a way that we have to know what is this value of A. Let's call this A, and from the value of A we'll equate these two to be equals to 180 degrees. But before then, let's just recall ourselves on the most important circle theorem. And in circle theorem, that we say when we have a circle and the center, the chord projects an arc, or sorry, the arc projects an angle to the center. Let's call it angle theta. Now that same arc projects an angle to the circumference. Okay, let's call it angle alpha. We are saying in essence that the angle at the center is twice the angle at circumference. So we are saying that theta is equals to 2 alpha. So now in this case, now we have a diameter. So that means we have a circle and then we have a diameter. Now this diameter has an arc. You can see the arc, which is literally the half of the circle, and then it projects an angle again to the circumference. Now projecting an angle to the circumference means the angle at the center, which is 180 degrees, and the angle at the circumference will be half of the angle at center, so this is 90 degrees. So we are saying that this angle here is 90 degrees. So we can easily evaluate the value of A in this case. So how do we evaluate the value of A? We will use the sum of angles in a triangle. So we are going to consider triangle, let's call it RMN. So if we are considering triangle RMN, we are saying that A plus 90 degrees plus final x degrees is equals to 180 degrees, because the sum of angles in the triangle is 180 degrees. So with that, we can find the value of A. So we are saying A will be equals to 180 degrees minus into 90 plus x So we are saying A is equals to 180 degrees minus 90 degrees minus x degrees. Therefore, this will give us 90 minus x degrees. Now we have A to be equals to 90 minus x degrees. If we substitute the value of A to be 90 minus x degrees. Now if you look at this straight line now, the sum of angle in this straight line is equals to 180 degrees. So we are saying that 90 minus x plus 5x plus 20 is equals to 180 degrees. So with that we can find the value of x. So we are saying 90 minus x plus what's the expression, 5x plus 20 is equals to 180 degrees, and the reason being the sum of angles in a straight line. So now we just simplify this expression now, and simplifying it further, let's open the brackets. We'll have 90 degrees minus x plus 5x plus 20 degrees. Remember, degrees is equals to 180 degrees. So bringing the two terms together, 4x 90 plus 20 is 110 and is equals to 180 degrees. So we can find the value of x now and say 4x is equals to 180 degrees minus 110 degrees. So 4x is simply equals to 70 degrees, and x is equals to 70 degrees divided by 4. So x is equals to 17.5 degrees. 17.5 degrees. So we have found the value of x. Now if we go back to the question, we're given that angle SRN is equals to 5x plus 20 degrees. We should find the value of 2x. So 2x now will be equals to x multiplied by 2, or is it 2 multiplied by x? That's 17.5 degrees. Let's rewrite this, and we'll have 2 multiplied by 17.5 degrees, and this is equivalent to 35 degrees. Option B. So we can see now that we applied the circle theorem, that angular center is equals to twice angular circumference. Let's write it out. Angle at center is 2 times angle at circumference. And at this point we are applied that the sum of angles in a triangle is equals to 180 degrees. Sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees, and here we apply that the sum of angles in a straight line is 180 degrees. Sum of angles in a straight line is 180 degrees. So with this we're able to find the value of 2x to be equals to 35 degrees. So this explains everything.